Call the Mars City Council meeting together, January 5th, 12 p.m. Please rise and present the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, Beth?
Nelson?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Conlon?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Wick?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the agenda. Second.
Motion made and second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Today, the first thing I'd like to welcome Bev with the Sentinel is here, and anybody else, Kevin and Dave here in the chamber for our council meeting, and in just a minute, I believe you'll be able to see the council meetings, hopefully over television, for you people that are at home. First thing on the agenda today is we've got a hearing, offer to purchase property. The council set this as the date and time to consider offers received by 12 p.m. noon, December 29th, 2020, for the east 184.43 feet of the south 609.85 feet of lot 3 and west 172.71 feet of south 609.85 feet of the lot 5, Lamar's Industrial Park South Addition, the city of Lamar's, Plymouth County, Iowa. And I'm going to stop there before I open this up. I want to turn it over to Jason, because what has happened here is it was realized the administration, after the December 29th deadline, that an incorrect legal description was used in the previous council agenda, as well as the published notice. So the city replatted the subdivision as of June 20th of 2020. So Jason, you got any further additions on that?
No, that explains it. I mean, I used the legal description, the same legal description that was used a year ago in March, I believe. And then, as I wrote here, in June, we replatted that subdivision. So the legal description of that, it's the same piece of property, it's just that the legal description of it changed. So the incorrect legal description was published. So to correct that, we should republish it. And then in essence, extending the dates to receive the offers to by the 2 weeks. As you see, January 13th. So improper publication.
So whoever submitted that one offer is going to have to resubmit, and they know that?
I spoke to them yesterday.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
They're aware of it.
they'll have to resubmit.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to open the hearing and ask for written or oral objections or comments to this hearing. I will once again open the hearing and ask for any written or oral objections or comments to the hearing. Hearing none, I'm going to close the hearing at all time. Mayor announces the time receiving the objections closed. The administration recommends council extend the date to receive offers to January 13th, 2021 at 5 p.m. and the hearing to January 19th, 2021 to allow the new notice be published with the correct legal description. And I'd entertain a motion on that. If you
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 21.1 to extend the public hearing to January 19th at noon for any and all written offers received by the 13th at 5 p.m. For lot 4, replat of lots 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Lamar's Industrial Park South Addition.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Motion made and a second to adopt the resolution 20, is that 20.01? Is that what it is?
21-1, because now we're in 21. See, you start again.
Thank you. 21-1, to extend the public hearing to January 19th, 2021 at 12 p.m. for any on all written offers received by January 13th, 2021 at 5 p.m. For Lot 4, replat of lots 3, 5, 6, and 7, Lamar's Industrial Park South Addition. Could we have a roll?
Dick, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
A couple comments. If we're gonna republish the notice, should we put in the notice, restricted uses out there? Since that was an issue, why we ended up with it back and all that, would it be pertinent to do that or not? And that is in the form of a total question. Like, for instance, it can't have livestock.
I believe we have covenants, I mean,
We do have covenants that cover it, but just so that,
you wanna publish those?
no, it's in the form of a question, just that you can't just be bought so I can put my cattle yard out there, or my, I don't know.
Well, now's the time to change, criteria, I guess, if you wanna change criteria. I mean,
I just don't want another problem with it, if somebody buys it.
I mean, now's the time too, to also readdress if you wanna put a minimum dollar amount on it too. We've avoided that in the past, but
I'm not so worried about that, I guess. I just don't want another nuisance problem, that's all.
I guess
It's
we
in the
could.
city limits, so it goes by all our city codes.
Well, yeah, but so
Would cover
was,
it.
so was the Ag line.
You can also always reject any offers.
Okay.
I mean, you always have the right to reject the offers at the hearing.
You know, once we receive.
We have the right to reject an offer, but we don't have the right to dictate what it's used for once it's purchased, except through our
Right. Covenants and code.
covenants and ordinances, right? So that's all I'm saying, is I just don't want a problem if we sell it again.
Well, we can do it this way, Clark. I mean, once we receive offers, I mean, there's enough time in there
Okay,
that, I can contact them to verify what they want to use it for.
okay,
And to have that available at the council meeting.
that's fine.
Does that answer your question? on that?
Yeah, like I say, I'm just trying to avoid a problem 3 years from now, that's all.
Okay. You want a roll call, Ben?
Goodchild?
Yes.
Wick?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Conlon?
Yes.
Mel?
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to the general discussion. Clark, do you have anything on
No, I'm good, thank you.
the, Rex? Ken?
Nothing today, thank you.
Steve?
Nothing today, thank you.
Mike?
I said all my New Year's stuff at the last meeting, so I'm
Okay.
okay.
That's real good. Okay, moving on to the Thumbs Up Award. Clark, do you have anything?
No, I'm good.
Rex? Ken?
Nothing, thank you.
Steve? No. Mike? Boy, this ain't taking long. Okay, moving on to the consent items. All items listed on the consent agenda will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion on those items unless a request is made prior to the time the council votes on their motion. Today we have 4 of them. Approval, December 15th, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Number 2 is a list of the bills for the period ending 12/31/20. Number 3 is a renewal of the liquor license, Blue Tequila. And number 4 is a designation of official newspaper for 2021. Anybody want to pull any of those? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to, excuse me, consent items 1 through 4.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the items, consent items 1 through 4. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the action items. The first one is yield signs. Public Safety Committee met on December 22nd, 2020 and discussed traffic concerns on 4th Street Southeast between Central Avenue and 4th Avenue Southeast. Both 1st Avenue and 2nd Avenue are uncontrolled, while 3rd Avenue is a 4-way stop due to the Franklin School. At this time, the Public Safety Committee is recommending that yield signs be placed on First Avenue Southeast and Second Avenue Southeast to control the north-south traffic. Open for questions.
So, not to let a sign ever go to waste here. Kevin, explain to me what a yield sign means to me as a driving person. Does it mean I'm gonna get a ticket if I don't ever slow down?
So
Or
cause an accident.
cause an accident? Am I gonna be the one to get ticketed or what?
So what the difference is between a controlled and non-controlled is a non-controlled intersection, everybody's required to yield on the right. If it's a yield sign, you are required to yield regardless if it's left traffic or right traffic. It would help contain that corridor there a little bit. I think Fire Chief would agree with me when we hear an accident dispatched to 4th Street and 2nd Avenue Southeast, we know there's going to be some speed involved and we know it's going to be a bad one. It's probably the very first accident that I investigated as a patrolman back in 1997 was at that intersection, and we've had some bad ones there. So yes, you could get a ticket. We're hoping that it would slow down traffic. We're hoping that it would decrease the accidents that we would have on that corridor stretch there. Does that answer your question, Rex?
Yeah, is it one on each side of just the two intersections for right now?
One on each side of the intersection. Correct. One northbound and one southbound.
And this isn't gonna be a pattern that you keep going back every 2 weeks?
I don't think so. I mean, this.
But I tell you what, here a little bit, Rex, so all the way from Business 75 to 4th Street Southeast,
Right.
those 8 blocks or whatever, every intersection is controlled in some manner except for these two.
Okay.
Everything west is by stop signs. Central is 4-way stop, 1st and 2nd are uncontrolled, and then 3rd and 4th are all 4-way stops.
Right, but I'm just a traveling motorist, and there are a couple hundred totally uncontrolled intersections in town. And-
I agree with you. I'm surprised this actually hasn't came to the Public Safety Committee before. I'm looking at the stats here. In 1 year, there was 4 bad accidents within that intersection. That was a couple of years ago, but I don't think we're going to come to you every week with this. I do think that this short corridor here does.
Something else, Rex, just so you know, is that is now our emergency route to the east side of town. Because it is the most through street.
Right.
So, when we roll out of downtown Fire Station 1 and we're going to Clark Goodchild's house or somewhere there, we go to 4th to get up to that southeast kind of corner of town, Penny Lane, all that stuff up in there. So that would help us out with an emergency vehicle too, if people have to yield to that 4th Street traffic. So that's another reason it came up recently.
I would almost want to extend the discussion to, should we put stop signs in?
No,
Too.
no, we're not extending this conversation.
That would create consistency though.
There's a limit on my ability to compromise.
All right, let's just bring it up.
That's the reason we went to yield instead of stop, right?
Yeah, are we gonna have the little flags at
We
the
went
top of
to-
the yield when we first put them or something?
Yeah, I
so that
think
people know that
we should. Obviously, we've conditioned folks for the past 40 years not to stop there. The objective is not from day one to write tickets.
Right. Well, and I wasn't assuming so, but I was just
Right.
think, been here forever, and I'm not sure the yield sign has ever come up before.
We did it on First Avenue and 3rd Street not that long ago by the old Abbey. That intersection, we put yield signs.
And that did help. That did help there, so.
That's maybe the only one then?
Rex, you and I both remember the discussion with the child care place up there. At one time, we were gonna make that no parking on that whole block.
Right, we
got quite a bit of objections to that.
we decided to fill up the council chamber, so we got a lot of objections to that one, so. We've got a couple, and that's why I'm just asking, I just wanna make sure that this is.
A couple of things that have changed, Rex, is with the apartment building there, when it was a nursing home, we didn't have the traffic we have now with people coming and going on First Avenue, because now it is an apartment building. And and that's why we put the yield signs on Third. And now with us, as I said, using that as an emergency route, and the wrecks that we've had there at the top of that hill at Second, both those streets are a hill, so it's tough to visually see anything until you're right into the intersection. So that's why, it actually came up because we had a request for a couple stop signs in a couple other places in town that we didn't even bring to you. But then we started talking about bad intersections with wrecks and emergency response routes, and that's why this came up.
Well, you guys are right, that is the most direct route from one side to the other side, but frankly, I avoid it because there are places you can't see.
Yep.
In the winter, you can see better without the leaves, but when the leaves are out 9 months a year, it's tough to see people. And everybody just goes.
Right.
I mean, that's just an observation by somebody, but,
Yep.
okay, thank you, that's all I'm gonna
Answer your
do.
questions?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
entertain a motion?
Make a motion
Roll
to
call.
adopt resolution number 1-2, adding 2 yield signs on First Avenue Southeast and 2 yield signs on Second Avenue Southeast at the intersections with 4th Street Southeast.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Motion made and second to adopt resolution number 1-2, 21-2, adding 2 yield signs on First Avenue Southeast and 2 yield signs on Second Avenue Southeast at the intersections with 4th Street Southeast. We have a roll call on that, Deb?
Knapp,
Yeah.
Goodchild,
Yeah.
Conlon,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
That was just an emphasis pause, that's all.
Very good.
I thought maybe it'd take a little longer,
No,
Rex, I wasn't sure.
You can see I didn't make the motion.
Okay, moving on to number 2, the list of fees, license, and charges. The list of fees, license, and charges. Attached is a list of the fees, charges, and license, which show charges as follows. Number 1 is the current 2020 fees, license, and charges. And number 2 is the proposed 2021 fees, license, and charges. The committees and staff recommendations are listed on each attached spreadsheet in the red. I assume you probably had time to look at these over the weekend of the changes. I don't think there's that many, but the same, Rich, you got any questions on it, we're certainly.
Make a motion adopting resolution 21-3, approving the recommendation of fees, licenses, and charges for calendar year 2021 without amendment.
Motion adopting resolution number 21-3, approving the recommended list of fees, license, and charges for the calendar year of 2021 with amendment. Without amendment, excuse me. Can we have a roll call on that, Beth?
Second.
You know, we got a second.
You didn't ask
No, we got one now.
Cleaning up my act here.
It's early in here.
I'm just a trainee.
Nelson,
Yes.
Goodchild,
Yeah.
Conlon,
Yes.
Knapp,
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on to discussion. Clark, do you have anything under discussion?
Yeah, the only thing I have under discussion is I'm gonna go back to my thumbs up, and I'll take it back now. Because I was gonna say something, I forgot all about it, but I really appreciate the citizens all the citizens, that paid attention to the fireworks ordinance, okay? My dog hates them things. My dog goes into absolute reserve, but we've set the rules, and as far as I know, I didn't hear a pop outside of the rules. So I really appreciate that. I appreciated it at 4th of July too. It was an annoyance for a week, but we gave them a week, and it didn't seem to me like there was a lot of violation outside of that week. So thumbs up to the people who are paying attention to when it's allowed and when it's not allowed, and I do appreciate that, so.
Thank you, that's a great point, Clark, because a lot of people don't even realize that in December that they do it too, you know.
Right, right.
And you're right, we had very, very few complaints over this last year. And it's all due respect to the people that are throwing them off the right way.
Yep, there you go. Thanks, that's all.
Kevin, where'd Kevin go?
Yeah, the phone call.
Oh,
We did have a couple complaints, but just two.
okay.
And basically it was people that didn't realize it was allowed again. So it wasn't like they were outside the parameters. Clark, you're right, they weren't. It was just that citizens didn't realize they had the right to do it on
Sure.
New Year's. So
Yep.
that was it.
Sioux City is in the process of trying to get theirs cleaned up too, I know, over this last week. Okay, is that it? Rex?
I don't have anything.
Ken?
Well, I'm sorry, everybody missed the fireworks in the third ward. We had our I'm sure that's where they got the calls.
Probably.
But, got them one here and one there, but it was kind of pretty with snow on the ground and lighting up the sky. So,
Okay. Steve?
Nothing, thank you.
Mike?
No.
Okay. Moving on to, Jason, your report. Oh, wait a minute, the annual code report. Great.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Greg Smith, City Code Enforcement and Building Official. I think everybody's got one. If not, please let me know. I get you a copy of my annual report for the year. Gonna make it pretty quick. First page, other than the cover page, you see that we did add a new subdivision, the K&S 4th edition. I was out there, I've been out there several times throughout the grading process and infrastructure process out there. I noticed that they do now have the lot line stakes in place, but I'm sure it's just too cold to build. They were not out there yet when it was building season. So then obviously the big talk or big build for the year is the Quick Star, which is your center picture there. Just a very welcomed addition, and I think a good fit for our major thoroughfare through town. And then home construction obviously has really been a pretty good year. The very first page with your stats on it are the building permits and fees for the year.